Hello, friends, and welcome back to TJKidz Super Fun Stories, where imagination becomes reality. Today is part 2 of the Leaping Leopard, and if you haven't seen the part 1, I highly recommend you go back and listen, so you know how Leo became the Leaping Leopard. Most of the series on TJKidz are just fine to listen to out of order, but for this one, it's best to start from the beginning. Anyway, yes, today is part 2 of The Leaping Leopard. And yes, my daughter is back to help me with the voice of Hazel. Isn't that right? I should just call you Hazel. You cool if I just call you Hazel?
Yep.
Excellent. Are you ready? Have you done your voice exercises? Can you say how now, brown cow?
Really, Dad?
What? It might be beneficial.
Yeah. Maybe if it was a rhyming story about brown cows, I'm ready. Let's just get to the story.
Okay, you got it. Now, last time Leo discovered he could leap like a leopard, but today things get a little more complicated. So grab a comfy spot, get cozy, and join me for this adventure. The Leaping Leopard, a superhero tale, episode 2, The Pound Problem. Leo was still getting used to his powers. Every day, he discovered new tricks and also some of his limits. He could now leap high enough to land on building rooftops, and depending on their height, sometimes jump over buildings completely. He had mostly perfected his landings. Even after very high leaps, he could land like a cat. And he could climb trees with ease, as if they were ladders. But now, thanks to Hazel, he had something new. A suit. Hazel had spent many weekends designing it in her garage, complete with retractable claws, night vision goggles, and a flexible and retractable tail stabilizer.
It's made from recycled trampoline fabric,
Hazel explained.
so it's bouncy, stretchy, and eco-friendly.
Leo tried it on and did a backflip off of her porch. Whoa, this suit is amazing. I'm like an actual leopard now,
Told you.
Hazel said, lifting her goggles.
Now, let's test this baby out.
They spent the afternoon measuring Leo's jump height maximum, practicing tail balance, climbing trees with the suit's built-in claws, and perfecting his landings. Leo was starting to get the hang of his suit, but he still made a few mistakes. He crashed into a mailbox, knocked over a few trash cans, and accidentally scared a jogger into some bushes. Ah! Are you crazy? Shouted the jogger. Sorry, Leo called out. Still learning. Hazel scribbled some notes on her sketch pad.
Great.
She said.
We'll need to test out stealth mode later tonight.
Just as they were packing up for the day, Hazel's phone buzzed.
Uh-oh.
She said.
Take a look at this.
A news alert popped up that read, Mysterious villain known as the Pounder spotted downtown. Multiple pets reported missing. Leo raised an eyebrow. The Pounder?
Yeah, I've been looking into this.
She said.
He wears a suit, carries a net launcher, and thinks pets are dirty and disgusting. He's been snatching cats, dogs, even parrots, and locking them in his kennel.
Leo clenched his fists. We've got to stop him. Hazel agreed.
Let's do this. We'll have to test your night vision later. Stopping this pet hater is our priority. Who knows what he's doing with these pets? The poor babies.
How are we going to track this guy down? Asked Leo. He could be anywhere.
I'm glad you asked,
said Hazel.
I took the liberty of putting tracking devices on some of the neighborhood pets' collars. When they leave their yard, I get an alert. Hey, I just got an alert from a puppy over there on Briar Street. Come on.
All right, time for some action. I'll meet you there, said Leo as he leaped from tree to tree, taking a shortcut to Briar Street.
Aw, man.
Said Hazel as she hopped on her bike.
I'm going to miss out on all the fun.
As Leo peeked down from a tree just above Briar Street, he heard a boy cry out in distress. He took my puppy! Leo scanned the streets. There, on top of a van with metal bars over the windows, stood a tall figure in a gray suit. He had just placed the puppy inside the van and was looking for more pets to steal. No more pets, the pounder shouted. They're filthy, disgusting, diseased, and loud. They're going to my pound. I'm cleaning up this town. He fired his net launcher toward a kitty, and luckily, she jumped out of the way just in time to escape. Leo leapt into action. Not today, pounder. He soared through the air and landed on the van. The pounder spun around. What's this? A leopard boy? You belong in a zoo. Leo dodged a net blast and kicked the net launcher out of his hands. He jumped down below and entered the van. Leo quickly opened the mobile kennel and freed a dozen pets, cats, dogs, even a turtle. He spoke into his wrist communication device that Hazel had equipped in the suit. Come in, Hazel, he said. I've just released some pets. I need you to round them up quickly. I'm going after the pounder. But just as he turned to leap again, wham! A net shot out and wrapped around him. Gotcha! The pounder sneered. One more wild animal to add to my collection. Leo struggled, but the net was electrified. He couldn't break free. Hazel! Hazel! Come in, Hazel! He shouted into his communication device. I'm in trouble! He's got me!
On my way, Leo,
she said into her watch.
Hang in there.
But as Hazel arrived at the scene on her bike, the pounder and Leo were nowhere to be seen. Luckily, the pets that Leo had freed were all still in the area. Hazel quickly jumped into action, luring them in with some treats.
Okay, my little friends,
she said gently.
You're safe now. Your mommies and daddies will be here soon.
Hazel made some quick phone calls to the pet owners, and while she waited, she thought about her rescue plan. She remembered that she had installed a tracking device on Leo's suit, just in case.
Leo's in trouble,
she said.
Well, I guess I knew this day might come. Looks like it's finally time to test out my little project.
After the last pets were picked up by their owners, Hazel headed back home on her bike. She opened the garage and looked at her workbench. She pressed the button marked Emergency Protocol, and with a low rumble, a hidden panel slid open, revealing something she'd been working on in secret.
I'm coming for you, Pounder,
she said.
Nobody messes with the Leaping Leopard. Not on my watch.
Meanwhile, Leo and the Pounder had just arrived at the villain's lair. The Pounder shoved him forward, and with a clang, a heavy iron cage swung open. Leo stumbled inside as the door slammed shut, the lock clicking into place. He spun around, his eyes darting across the room. All around him, innocent pets sat trapped in cages, strange glowing collars fastened around their necks. Wires ran across the floor, connecting to humming machines and blinking lights. The room was cold and inhumane. What is all this stuff? What are you doing with these innocent pets? Leo demanded. The Pounder sneered. These are my servants. Those collars make them do whatever I say. That's the only thing these filthy animals are good for. Never! You'll never get away with this, Leo shouted. The pounder leaned closer. Oh, I'll do more than get away with it. You, leopard boy, will be my greatest project. I'm going to turn you into my ultimate protection weapon. Leo squeezed the bars. I'm the Leaping Leopard, and you'll never succeed. We'll see about that, the pounder laughed. More like the captured leopard. Suddenly, a voice rang out.
Let him go, Pounder.
The villain turned. Standing in the doorway was Hazel. But she wasn't just Hazel anymore. She wore a sleek silver suit with glowing blue lines. She had a belt that connected to her backpack and gloves with buttons. And who are you supposed to be? The pounder snickered.
I'm the print puma, and I'm your problem.
She pressed a button on her wrist. A 3D printer connected to her backpack began printing fast. Next, a pair of bolt cutters had appeared on her belt. Hazel ran over to Leo's cage and quickly cut the lock off. Hazel? He asked. You have a suit too?
Surprise!
Hazel grinned.
It's a prototype.
Together, they faced the pounder. Hazel quickly printed some marbles and threw them toward the pounder's feet. As the pounder stepped forward, he slipped on the marbles. Next, Hazel ran toward the pet cages with the bolt cutters.
You take care of the pounder.
She said.
I'll get the pets.
The pounder growled, pushing himself back up. He yanked a net gun from his belt and charged straight at Leo. With a sharp crack, the net fired, whistling through the air. But Leo was faster. He leapt high, twisting into a flip, and landed gracefully behind the pounder. Missed me, Leo smirked. Before the pounder could turn, Leo's tail lashed out with a powerful flick, sending the villain crashing into one of his own cages. Leo closed the door and locked it behind him. You're right where you belong, said the leaping leopard. Meanwhile, Hazel had freed the last of the pets. The pets were safe, and the pounder was locked up. Leo turned to Hazel. Thanks for the rescue. You're a superhero.
Takes one to know one,
she said. So, sidekick? Leo asked.
Partner.
Hazel corrected.
And I've got more upgrades coming.
Leo smiled. The leaping leopard and the print puma. I like it. Hazel agreed.
Well, I wanted to be the capybara, but I realized that doesn't sound very superhero-like. But this way we sound cool. Like look out for the catastrophe coming your way.
I like it, said Leo with a giggle. The end. And that is the end of our story, friends. Oh boy, that was a close one. Thanks for the rescue, Hazel.
Anytime. Someone's got to keep the leaping leopard out of trouble.
Yeah, that's true. And you did an awesome job. Actually, my daughter came up with the name and superpower of Hazel. Isn't that right?
Yep, sure did.
You know, that reminds me of a moral I learned from this story. Sometimes the best heroes are the ones who build, invent, and prepare, even when no one's watching. You never know when someone may need you, and sometimes the strongest leap is the one you take with a friend. Hazel and Leo were only able to defeat the pounder and rescue the pets by working together. Well, that's it for today, friends. Thanks for tuning in. See you on the next one. Toodles!